Guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Manka Ngunjiri. If you're new here, I thank you for tuning in and clicking this video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. So today's word is an word of encouragement to anybody out there who feels that God has called you to pursue something, be it ministry, be it a certain course in school, be it some certain job. God has called you to go pursue a certain job. I feel like today's word is for you. Has God called you to do something? Has God called you to go and explore certain heights that you never expected before? Well, this word is to encourage you and to tell you to go ahead, rise above your fears, rise above your insecurities, and pursue what God has called you for. Because despite how insecure we are, despite how doubtful we are of ourselves, we shouldn't allow that to hold us back from getting to our destinies. This story of of Saul, before he was anointed to become the first king of Israel, he was a Benjaminite. He was from the tribe of Benjamin. This was the lowest tribe in Israel. He never thought he would qualify to do such a thing. He thought that he was too less of a man to do it, which is true. None of us is equipped to do whatever God has called us to do. None of us even is worthy to do what God has called us to do. But you know what? We should rise above those insecurities. You will not always think that you're perfect. God does not look for the perfect, by the way. He looks for those who have the open heart to go ahead and do what he has instructed them to do. Like Saul, the story of Saul before he was anointed as king. His father's donkey had gotten lost, and as the father told him to go look for the donkey. Just innocently, he obeyed. So he just went out of respect for his father and went out to look for the donkey. Little did he know that on his way to look for his donkey is where he was going to meet his destiny. Listen, while he was on the way looking for his donkey, he had gone to many provinces. He had gone far and wide looking just for one donkey. But when he was on the way, just stressing up, looking for the donkey, wondering where the donkey might have gone, he met Samuel, and Samuel was the prophet. So out of respect, Samuel called him and told him that God had called him and anointed him to be the first king of Israel. Being told that, of course, he freaked out and he was like, what? Me? Of all people of Israel, me, from the littlest tribe in Israel, I have been called. Of course, he had his doubts. He was like, really? But he did not refuse the call. He did not decide. He did not ignore Samuel. He accepted the call and went ahead with Samuel. And you know what? When he accepted to go ahead with Samuel took him to hall where he had invited guests, like about 30 guests, to feasts for the anointing of the new king of Israel. So they got there, and from being the littlest tribe, he was taken to the highest seat. He was taken to the highest seat and was given the special meat that was reserved for him. He never knew that it would go that way. He never knew that he one day will be the king of Israel. But he did not allow his fears to control him. He did not allow his doubts to hold him back from doing what God had anointed and had called him to do. He went ahead. He rose above the fears. He went ahead and did what God had called him for. And he sat at the table and ate, and he was anointed as the first king of Israel. Maybe for you, God has called you to do something. God has called you to pursue a certain course. And you're like, I did not even qualify for it. My high school grades were so low, I cannot like do it. But you know, let me tell you something. That God has God has a plan for you. And seeing that he has instructed you to go to do that course, he has called you to do that course, he is prepared for you. He knows how you're going to enter into that course. Or maybe it's a job. God has told you to go pursue a certain job, and you're like, I don't have the papers for it, I don't have the qualifications for it. Do not fear. Do not allow these insecurities to hold you back from doing what God has told you to do. Just go ahead with faith. Go ahead with faith and do what God has called you to do. The Bible says that a righteous man does not walk by sight, but by faith. If you walk by the sight that you cannot do this, that you are not equipped to do this, you will not do it. Of course you won't do it, and you will miss the blessing of God. You will miss the favor of God. You'll miss your destiny by a great chance. You'll miss even from being in the perfect will of God. But when you put aside these fears and insecurity, and you just say, you know what, because God has told me to do it, I will go ahead and do it. I won't look around me. I won't look on how much I have. I won't look on how much qualification I have. I will just go by faith. And when you go by faith, God will equip you through it. He will even be shocked at how he has equipped you to do things. Like, for example, let me give you an example of myself. I never thought I was equipped to start a YouTube channel. I thought that is for other people. Like, my big sister has a YouTube channel. She's called Gunjiri Joan. Go check out her channel. You see, she's extroverted. She's hyper. She loves talking. I was like, that's a thing for her, not for me. I'm called to writing, because I also have a blog, by the way. I'll put the link in the description box. But I thought I was for I was called only for writing, not for doing videos, and standing before a camera and talking. So when God called me to do it, at first I was doubtful. I stayed like 2 weeks or 3 just thinking about it, and I was like, Kai, am I really ready to do this? Can I really do this? Because I did a first video. My very first video is on my Instagram page. A first IGTV video. God had told me to do a video about something. Go, if you are interested, go check it out. My Instagram page is at Mankangonjiri. I'll link it in the description box. So when I did that video, I was scared. As if it was written all over my face. You could see the scaredness and the fear as I talked, because I could not, I had not yet gotten used. I'm still not yet gotten used to it. But you know what? I did not look at those insecurities and those and how much inequipped I am. I did not look at that. I decided I will go ahead. I will pursue what God has told me. And look, now I have a YouTube channel. God is continuing to work in me and amazing me in different ways. And I know that he has a plan for me, a great plan for me. So even you out there, if God has called you to do something, my friend, just go ahead and do it. Do not fear. Fear is of the devil. The devil brings us fear because he knows when we rise above the challenge and we do what God has instructed us to do, he knows that his kingdom will be utterly shattered and destroyed completely. It will be destroyed completely. And that is not what God will do. That's the devil's agenda. The devil doesn't want the church to rise, people to come to know the true knowledge of God and to obey God. So, whatever God has told you to do, please go ahead and do it. Do not fear. Do not look at how qualified you are. No, do not look at it. Do not look at those. These are just factors that are going to hinder you from doing what God has called you to do. I encourage you today, just go ahead and pursue God. Go ahead and pursue whatever God has called you to do, and do not fear. Fear is of the devil, but faith is of God. Go with faith. Go with faith. And this action of going ahead and accepting what God has told you to do, it will build you. It will build your faith in God. It will build your spirit, because you'll be able to explore more heights that you have never explored before. So I encourage you to continue. Whatever God has called you to do, please go ahead and do it. Do not fear. Do not fear. Do not look at your insecurities. You may find yourself that you're not qualified for doing such a thing or any other thing. But you know what? God has some all things in store for you. He just wants to see the willingness of your heart. How willing are you to pursue what He has told you to do? How willing are you to do what He has told you to do? And when you accept that call, my friend, you won't regret it. You will see God's hand working in you. And do not fear. I encourage you, do not fear, do not fear, do not fear. Go ahead, pursue what God has told you to do. If God has told you to drop this course and pursue another one, go ahead. If God has told you to drop, for those who are in high school in Kenya, if God has told you to drop a certain subject in Form 2 and pursue other subjects, just go ahead and do it. If God has instructed you to stop working where you're working right now and pursue another job, just go ahead, because it is God who has told you to do it, and He knows the plans He has for your life, plans to give you prosperity and a future, to give you hope. That is Jeremiah 29 verse 11. So trust in the plan of God. Trust in God. Even when He tells you to do something, do not do it because of how equipped you are. It is not us who equip ourselves. If you are a Christian, you know you do not live for yourself, you live for Jesus. So whatever Jesus tells you to do, since you live for Jesus, you should do it out of respect and obedience. And you'll see how great things God will do for you. Many people who are called have been called to do things. Others have assumed the call, and their lives, they are struggling right now. But if you look at those people who accepted their calls, God is taking them to higher heights. You'll see that God is working in them greater and greater things. So I encourage you today, just go ahead and do what God has called you to do, and you won't regret it. You will not regret it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've liked this video. If you like it, do the necessary, give it a thumbs up, and share it to your friends. If you know a friend who needs this message, just share it. Sharing is caring. And I'd encourage you, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment on whatever God has called you to do. Put it down in the comment section, and I believe you shall have a testimony when you do it. Just go ahead and do it. So that's the end of my video. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. Like, share, subscribe, and God bless you. Bye.